Mary has $50,000 to invest and can invest in bonds paying 15% per year or in a CD paying 7% per year. CD, certificate of deposit. How much money should she invest in each to get exactly $6,000 in interest per year? All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the interest earned from the bonds investment, we're gonna add it to the interest earned from the CD, and we want that to equal $6,000. All right, so you gotta think about, you gotta define a variable. All right, so if this $50,000 is being broken up into bonds and a CD, we can let X be the amount going into the bonds. If we let X be the bonds amount, then the CD, we take this amount X and we subtract it from the total 50,000 to get how much that we're going to put into the CD. So we do 50,000 minus X. That's going to be the amount going into the CD if we put X into the bonds. Now the interest earned off an account, simple interest, you take the principal, which is the amount there, and multiply it by the interest rate. So the interest rate for the bonds is 15%. So take 15% of the amount there, X, that gives me the interest that I earn for the year off the bonds. So I'm going to take the 15% and multiply it by X. I'm going to change it to a decimal. So 15%, you move the decimal 2 spots to the left to change it to a decimal. And you multiply it by how much is in the bonds. This gives me the amount of interest earned off the bonds. And then you want to do the same thing for the CD. It's earning 7% per year. So take 7% of the amount that's going into the CD, which is this. So changing 7% to a decimal, move it 2 places to the left, it's going to create a 0. So it's going to be 0.07 times this. Now it's a expression with a minus sign, you're going to need parentheses. So it's going to be parentheses 50,000 minus X. All right, so this is the amount of interest earned off the bonds. This is the amount of interest earned off the CD. And that has to equal how much that we want, $6,000. So this gives me an equation now that I can solve for X. So when I get X here, you have to remember that X is the amount that's going into the bonds. All right, so here I'm going to distribute 0.07, bring it down to 0.15 times X. 0.07 times 50,000, that is going to be 3,500. And then 0.07 times X, I'm going to write that as 0.07 times X. And bring down the equal sign and the 6,000. I'm going to combine the like terms here, the X terms, 0.15X minus 0.07X, that's going to be 0.08X. And I want to subtract 3,500 on both sides to isolate the X term on the left. All right, so this is going to give me 0.08X equals 2,500. And then to solve for X here, you're going to divide both sides by 0.08. Let me get a calculator. All right. So 2,500 divided by 0.08, that's going to give me 31,250. So X is going to be 31,250. Remember, X is the amount that's going into the bonds. And that was 31,250. So we figured out the bonds. This is for the bonds to get the amount in the CD, because remember, it says how much should she invest in each. So it's looking for both the amount going into the bonds and the amount going into the CD. So we're going to take this 31,250 and subtract it from 50,000 to get the amount going into the CD. And subtract there, and you get $18,750. And that is the amount going into the CD. There you go.